NFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Good evening, welcome along to NUFC Matters. It is the two legends, Supermac and Gibbo. Delighted to be joined by them. How are you, lads?
Very good.
Yes, very good after last night, I have to say.
Smile on your face. Can I just go on then, Malcolm, go on.
I just want to congratulate John, because last night he called it absolutely spot on. Even the scoreline. You got
well done, John. Well done, that man.
And I thought
sometimes you get lucky.
With 8 changes in the side, that they weren't going to be gelling from the start, and they did. I'll say brilliant. So well done, John. I'll take my hat off to you if I had one.
I'll say well done to Darren on the fans forum on Monday, because he said there would be a lot of changes. I completely disagreed. When he said Willock was going to be in the team, I nearly coughed me water out in my mouth. I went, no way, Eddie's going to take this seriously. But he made 8 changes, and as we've started, let's continue about that. That was the game last night. A comprehensive 2-0 win. A 2-0 can be comprehensive win. Against an underperforming Spurs side, and a Spurs side that really had not lost on the road, John. I mean, it was an amazing win.
Can I say before I reply, Steve, that I've never seen you look so well, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You look absolutely terrific there. I mean,
I knew you were going to get that one in at some point.
it was a great win, because, as you say, they came up here. They were the best Premier League side on the road in the whole of the country. They had it's the first time they lost in 8 games. There was 2 in the Champions League, the rest in the Premier League. So they came up here with a huge record. But you couldn't tell. I thought they batted second best, and as Malcolm has already sort of indicated, it was a good win. And I've got to say, Malcolm, a good draw. Fulham at home is a good draw, because we could have got Manchester City or Arsenal away. I mean, I don't mind. One of those sort of sides will be waiting for us in the semi-final, but I don't mind over 2 legs. But I didn't want them away from home in the quarterfinals. So I thought it was a good win and a good draw.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. And we know that we can beat Fulham.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we've just have, of course, but
we have.
We made that very late, but yes, we can beat Fulham, and I thought it was a good performance. We're going to be in with the heavyweights come the semi-final, and I'm not taking the quarter-final for granted, but you've got to be optimistic, otherwise the whole thing's pointless. If we go about it in the right way, we win. So it's been a good week, because in that week we've had 3 home games in 3 different competitions and won all 3 of them. So it's been a good week.
It certainly has. Mal, what did you? So last night, John got the prediction right. Well, did you expect a tougher game from Spurs, Mal?
I did. I really did. I thought they looked second-raters. You know, they weren't the side that was stood unbeaten away from home this season. What I would say is that I think teams find it very, very difficult to stick with the pace that Newcastle go and play at. It's a high pace, and it really is very difficult because not only have you got to do the running to stay with them, but you've also got to at the same time at top speed. You've got to be organising at the same time, and Newcastle, they had the better of Spurs literally from the kickoff, and I was mightily impressed, and I was saying to people, 8 changes, that's too much. It's too much to get it to gel from the word go, but gel from the word go they did.
Yeah,
and they looked really good. If there was perhaps one who I could criticise, and I can see the potential of this guy, but he's just not showing it, is Elanga. He had a fair bit of the ball last night, got no crosses into the box, got no shots in at all, and I think he's struggling for us. I really do, and I'm not sure how he's going to get out the hole that he's digging for himself. His job, putting it in the simplest of terms, is get crosses in the box, come inside, get shots on target.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. And
I tell you what I was impressed with, Malcolm, last night, because when you look on paper, you think, oh, dear me, that midfield, is it going to work? But, because you've got Ramsey in and Jordan back and you think Willock, and you think, oh, crikey, is it going to work? But Tonali held it together. Oh. What a player he is. What a player he is.
And you could see from the Spurs players, they looked at him in such awe.
Yeah.
He was absolutely magnificent, but he's been magnificent.
I tell you what, my favourite of their club, Malcolm, after Newcastle United, my favourite of their club is AC Milan, because we got Tonali off them and we got Malik Chow off them. And so I think they've been the kindest team, kindest club to us, because they're 2 outstanding players.
And when you think that Newcastle United, they stood with Tonali shoulder to shoulder when he was having a difficult time, but my word, he is repaying all of that in bucket loads with his performances. So well done him, well done the club for sticking with him, and the Italian manager doesn't have to come out to this country to watch how Tonali's getting on, because the word will be getting back that he is just absolutely phenomenal. And he wrong-footed players so often last night, the opposition players so often last night, that it looked as if he had been giving them falling over juice.
Yeah, he's good. He's quality. But I was pleased. And he held together midfield. It might have evaporated because, Willock has never been up to par to a great extent. Ramsey's finding...
He never has, John, has he, since he actually signed. When he was here on loan, he was absolutely terrific. But once he signed a contract with Newcastle and the transfer was complete, he never got up to that standard.
No, he scored about 6 and 6, I think, on loan.
Yes, he did. Like yes, he did. Quite
amazing. Quite amazing.
And has never got into those kind of positions again.
Aye. Is Steve there behind that?
Well, yeah, I am, because I don't like to speak over you. I don't like to speak over you guys, and I just keep an eye on what's coming in on the questions. I mean, some interesting ones. I mean, Alanga's an interesting one. I watched the game back today. I had a couple of hours spare, and I watched it back. And Malcolm's right about Alanga. I mean, his job is to cross the ball in, have shots on goal. With the exception of that one, which he did manage to cross in and hit the defender and went behind for a corner. There was a lot of hard work and endeavour, but he just didn't get the rub of the green. And I think it could be a bit of a work in progress, that, and it shouldn't be. But some players don't hit the ground running with Eddie's system and the fitness. So I think Murphy will probably start, when he's fit, and potentially at West Ham at the weekend. A couple of interesting things that last night, though. Tom Dixon's asking, what did John and Malcolm think about Joe Linton's challenge? Well, of course, I mean, it caused a big furore that on the pitch, and of course, Joe Linton got his obligatory yellow card, for getting a hold of one of the players by the neck, and he was getting pulled away by Dan Burn. But there's the challenge. It reminded me of David Brent riding an emu, lads. It was, but yeah, I mean, that was the challenge. I mean, he just cuddled him with his legs, John, didn't he?
I mean, that's a brilliant comparison. I love that. I mean, it is brilliant. When I saw it live, I thought, Joe, are you serious, mate? Do you really think you can get away from that? And he's going to get booked for that, and the retaliation is going to happen. Of course, we're biased in Joe's favour because he's got black and white on, but you can't do that. And he trots up so many bookings. If I'm being ultra critical or ultra truthful, and we have very high standards now, and I'm aware of what Joe's done for us in the past, how wonderful he's been, I think he's having a very average season. I don't think he's doing well at all this season. And I think if I looked at the three midfielders, if I was a midfielder out of the team at Newcastle and I looked at the midfield, I would think I'm not going to get in regular for Bruno. I'm not going to get in regularly for Tonali. Certainly, the chance would be to get in for Joe Linton, because he hasn't for me looked the brute. When he was effective brute, he wasn't doing stupid things like that. He was just a man mountain that stuck his.
Absolutely right. When you're that sort of enforcer type, the physical enforcer, as he's been showing himself, you have to keep everything else squeaky clean.
Yes.
You have to absolutely behave. Don't go swearing at the referee or anything like that, and don't do silly fouls and challenges, because you're getting stuck in and hurting people enough. So, and when I was down at Arsenal, there was a player who used to say, "Just do it, wipe your mouth, walk away."
Yeah,
and keep. So you kept your mouth shut, and when you've done the deed, you just walk away. But he's wanting to do silly things, as well as the hard stuff, and it doesn't combine. It doesn't combine at all, and he'll get more and more into trouble with referees, and what you don't want to do is get a bad reputation with referees, because the word goes around the Referees Association.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, you're agreeing there. I mean, Joe Linton, I mean, his physicality is probably the thing that's helped us dominate that kind of midfield, and it allows Bruno to be a bit more advanced and push on, and and Tonali, of course. I mean, another man of the match performance from him last night. He was exceptional. He loses the ball at a corner and he's back on the edge of our own 6-yard box, winning the ball back. He's incredible. But Joe Linton, I guess, takes the pressure off those two players and allows them to do their thing.
Yeah, he's got to keep his head. And I do worry about his knee, but anyway, we've got cover in there. We've got Miley and we've got Ramsey, who I think are both ahead of Willock in the pecking order for me. Both those guys are ahead of Willock.
I think so. John, I thought that Ramsey, I thought he did really well last night. And for the first time, he actually convinced me that he can do a job within the club.
He's got a good pedigree. I think he just needs to settle in. He can play. There's absolutely no question about that. He just needs to settle into what we do. And he's got the most chance of getting into the side on a regular basis, because at least with Joe Linton, he's a very different player to Joe Linton. He's got more quality on the ball, more silkiness, but he doesn't break them up and dominate and push players around in the way that Joe Linton does.
No, but the two of them make a good partnership.
Yeah.
Putting their strengths all onto one plate.
Yeah.
What did you make of that situation that developed with the first goal as well? Thomas Frank was going absolutely ballistic about it. So were their players. Richarlison got booked because of it. But, when somebody decides to bend down and tie the boots laces in a game, he got up, he was running back, and then Newcastle took the corner. But, I mean, they got the indication from the referee, John, didn't they? There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely nothing. I was absolutely furious about Spurs' attitude to the whole thing and Richarlison's attitude. The manager was obviously going to take the attitude afterwards because he lost and he needed excuses. But first things first, for me, there's nothing in the rules that say that a referee has got to wait until the player marks up. I've known referees, when somebody wants their boots tied, that says go to the touchline and tie them then, because we're going to get on with the game. And secondly, he took an age over tying his bootlaces up, which is what he wanted to do, to calm everything down and us to lose our impetus before the corner was taken. And when he got back up after tying his laces, Steve, he didn't rush back into his position. He ambled back into the centre. If he wanted to do his job and he knew he should be marking Shaw, he should have got up and sprinted over to where Shaw was. He ambled towards the penalty area. And it's an absolute disgrace to make that as an excuse for losing the game. I'm sorry. You've got to be a bit more professional than that. If we
you certainly have. Yeah.
If we keep doing things, Malcolm, like that, we keep waiting, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get loads of players going down and saying, oh, wait a minute, I want to tie me boot, just to get the game stopped, just to waste a bit of time. I'm tying me boot. Wait until I take up my position. What's the ref supposed to do? Wait till he marks up the fella and puts his arm up and says,
absolutely.
All right, ref, you can take the free kick now.
And when Richarlison was pestering the referee, it's a shame the referee didn't have a copy of the rule book in his pocket, because he could have taken it out and said, you find what you're talking about in there.
Oh, I mean, it's
because it doesn't exist.
But what happened to the business of taking free kicks? I know this was a corner, taking free kicks quickly and things like that, when you have to give the advantage to the team that's attacking. There was none of that. I mean, the rest of the Spurs defence had all the time in the world to mark up, because we waited an eternity while this fella did a double knot on his boots. I've got no sympathy at all. In fact, I was absolutely furious that they had the audacity to make the fact that the fella lost his boot was the reason they lost the game. I don't think so.
Yeah, but what I would say, John, is that when Shaw, when he actually went up and got the header in, and I thought, nah, that wasn't Shaw, surely. He got up so high, and it was
great header. He's got a goal in the mouth.
Jump. Well, fabulous jump. He out jumped 2 yellow shirts.
Well, we've talked about, or certainly I've talked about, the need for goals from different positions, and I've said in particular from our centre backs, because We've got huge centre backs. You know, you think of Byrne and you think of Chow, and we've got huge centre backs, and we don't get enough goals from our centre backs. The one exception to that is Shaw. He has a goal in him. He can finish with his foot from the edge of the box as well. He has a goal in him. And I was delighted for the lad because he's been a wonderful servant to us. He's realising now that he's got a job on his hands with Malik Shah for getting regularly into the side. But there's no pet lips. There's no anything. He comes on, plays in a game like that, and scores a key goal. Good for him, because believe you me, this is when you're playing in 4 competitions in the season. This is a team game and a squad game. Never mind a team game.
And I understand Tonali being made man of the match, but if you hadn't gone for Tonali, I would have gone for Shaw, because I've thought that he just picked Richarlison up, put him in his back pocket.
Oh, totally.
For the first half, and Richarlison didn't look a player out there at all. In fact, there were times when I was sort of searching the pitch for him.
He's gone backwards, Malcolm. He's gone backwards as a player to what he was when he first got in the Brazil side, etc., etc.
Yes.
And of course, he's got a bit of a pet lip on because he's not in automatically. Solanke will be in when he's fit. And I think he's looking for a move in January. Well, if he is looking for a move in January, that's not the way to get it with a performance that he gave last night.
No, there wouldn't be many interested in him with that kind of a performance.
No, you don't need that in your dressing room at all. Special mention to our goalkeeper last night. We are blessed at the moment with 2 exceptional goalkeepers, John. Ramsdale, only second appearance of the season. Very little to do, but when he was called into action in the second half, that full-length save at the Leazer's end was exceptional.
Sensational. Absolutely sensational, because that was in the corner and it was struck with such venom, and boom, their strong hand kept out. And you saw the reaction of the Newcastle defenders to run around him and say, hey, well done, high five.
They couldn't get there quick enough, could they?
He was terrific. He's good and confident with his feet, which is an added advantage. But I mean, he's got a pedigree. We shouldn't be surprised. I mean, when he was playing in the Arsenal first team regularly before they decided to go for Reina, he was getting loaded to the skies. And if you remember, guys, the 2 England goalkeepers behind Pickford at one time were Ramsdale and Pope.
Yes,
they were in England squads together, because Ramsdale was with Arsenal and Pope was with us, and Pickford has been there for an eternity. So yes, he's got a pedigree, and he probably. I want him to stay here and have our 2 goalkeepers fight for the position. He probably deserves, if he looks at it from his point of view, a first-team regular spot somewhere.
Right, and I think that Pope, watching that game last night, watching Ramsdale, he would be sweating a little, thinking, "Gee whiz, I've got some serious competition for my place. I'm going to have to be brilliant all the while."
Sure, and he's done well shot stopping recently as well. Pope,
yes,
he has.
Some
good saves at critical moments in previous matches. At the moment, we're well served off it.
He seems to be catching the ball more, because he started punching for some silly reason. He was even punching off his chest. And you think, oh, come on, just catch it.
That's frightening, because it can go anywhere, Malcolm. Punch off your chest, it goes anywhere.
Yeah, but once a keeper's got his arms safely around the ball, all danger just dies. And defenders can relax and get themselves upfield, and so I'd much rather the Pope of today than what we were seeing of him last season and a bit before.
Yeah, certainly seems to have come over his injury problems and confidence problems, and look, they're going neck and neck with each other. I mean, look, it's jumping the gun a bit. We've just got into the quarterfinals. I understand people's optimism, but if we were to get to the final in the Carabao Cup, you would imagine that Ramsdale would keep his place, John, because he's got them there.
It's an intriguing one, Steve.
It is
really an intriguing one because last season, and I can understand why, when we got to the final, we ditched the idea it could be Dubrovka or anybody and went with Pope. Now it would be different if he plays. If we make the final, and I know we don't want to push Willock here, but why not tell it the way it is? If we make the final, and we've got a great chance of making the semis, and over 2 legs, we will match any side over 2 legs. Now, if Ramsdale plays in the quarters and we win, and plays in the 2 semis and they win, you cannot get rid of him for the final, can you?
No, you can't. And if you do, you lose him.
Of course.
You lose him mentally anyway.
And of course,
we've got to be at the club, but it's something that he would never forgive.
We've got a situation as well that he's on loan, isn't he? What he does at the end of the season, we would like him to stay here. I would suspect, because you're not going to get a better number 2. And I'm not meaning he is a number 2. You're not going to get a better 2 goalkeepers than Pope and Ramsdale.
Yeah, he is on loan, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Before we go into the adverts, just want to briefly talk about Fulham. I mean, we jumped ahead ourselves to last night's game because it was the most recent. But yeah, a 2-1 win, Mal, against your old team Fulham. Yeah, I mean, there was a few nerves in that game, I guess. Fulham didn't lie down. They came back with more fight in them than maybe Spurs did last night.
Yeah,
Byrne was up against a tricky customer as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, and not just that Fulham are prepared to have a good old scrap, but they can play. The one thing that they lack perhaps is that final finish. Which Newcastle have got, but Newcastle found it a bit of a problem. But the beauty about Newcastle is that no matter how they're playing, they're always liable to score goals, and that's Fulham's problem. It was certainly Spurs last night.
I mean, against Fulham, we left it late. There's absolutely no question about that. I thought Bruno was sensational against Fulham, not just because he scored the goal in the 92nd minute, but I mean, he was a Duracell bunny. He was here, there, and everywhere. I mean,
he was, and also when he did score, John, he got himself into a position that I looked at him. And I thought, what the hell are you doing there?
I was going, that's a sniffer's position for a striker. And all of a sudden, your midfielders lurking outside the back post.
Yeah.
I mean, terrific.
I would have expected him to be in the D, on the edge of the box, looking for any scraps that come out of the box. But there he was, almost on the goal line, sneaking around the back of everybody.
But, I mean, whatever we say about that Fulham match and Huff and Puff, we had an awful lot of chances. We could have won it comfortably before we did it today. But we missed some of it. We missed a lot of chances. But when I look back at that game, and I think we've got them again at St. James's Park in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, I'm more than happy. I think we can do them again. No danger. And possibly this time do them again easier than we did last week.
Yeah, yes, there were times where I felt that we were making hard work of it.
Yeah. I mean, you could chalk up a lot of chances that we missed. I mean, Murphy scored a great goal and then missed one. Everybody seemed to miss one at some stage of that particular game. But it's been a good week. And if I can say something, Steve, before we finish on this off, because the final thing on Spurs, I just want to say Woltemade is winning my heart, because I tell you what, this summer was all about big-priced centre forwards moving everywhere. Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, all buying centre forwards. I'll tell you something, no centre forward bought this summer has done better than Woltemade. He has done better. The guy that we won't mention, and I won't mention him because I don't want to give him any credence, but we know what's happened, the invisible man at Liverpool. We haven't missed him at all with what Woltemade's done at Newcastle. He scored again in that game against Spurs. You know what? He doesn't have loads of shots. By a shot, I mean a header or with your foot, a goal bound.
He doesn't miss, John, does he?
Everyone goes in.
Yes.
He scored 6 goals, and I bet he's only had 6 attempts on goal, 7 at the most.
I think you're right, you know.
Everyone goes in. He doesn't pepper the goal. He's not traditional centre forward peppering the goal and you'll get 2, but you've had 6 attempts. So he doesn't pepper the goal. I mean, there was times against Spurs he's dropping on the halfway line to pick it up because he's got such good feet. But he is such a nice guy. He's so enthusiastic and wants to do well for us. And you look at what he's done for us. I tell you what, mate, he's a breath of fresh air. He really is a breath of fresh air because there was a lot of stale air around with what had happened before. He's come in and give us all a lift.
And I know you guys...
And hasn't Isak just been completely forgotten?
I'd said I wouldn't mention him, but you did. Yes,
I'm mentioning him because he's been totally forgotten.
Chris Wood hasn't.
I've not heard anybody say, "Oh, wish we still had Isak," or anything like that. Woltemade's just completely overtaken any thoughts.
He's so different. I've never seen a centre forward like him, and I know the simple answer is he's not a centre forward. He's really a 10 that's playing a centre forward. But I've never known one like him that comes deep. He isn't in the penalty area that often, but every time he is and finishes, it's a goal.
Yes.
His feet are better than any of the centre forwards we've talked about, and I would even include the guy that went to Liverpool who had good feet. But this guy's feet, I mean, at one stage when he brought the ball down and threaded it through to somebody, and I thought, dear, how did you do that? I mean, regardless of your height, regardless of whether you're 5'3" or 10'3", he's terrific with his feet.
Right, and John, what hasn't yet started to happen is that other players haven't quite worked out what he's actually doing with his feet. And if they start making the right kind of runs, just either left or right of him, he'll start just poking it into their path.
Oh, Malcolm,
them up. They haven't worked that one out yet.
This is because he's so different.
Yeah.
And he admits that the players are only getting used to him. I've never seen a centre forward with his build play the way he plays. He's a unique, he's a one-off. He really, because he plays so differently. He doesn't do the traditional stuff. And by the way, we talk about people needing time to settle into sides. We talk about Gordon's needed time when he first come. Elanga's needing time now. This is a player that's come into this country with a foreign language. He's never played in the Premier League, the physicality of the Premier League. Because Wissa's got injured, he started every game and he's looked as fresh as a daisy.
And also, John, the pace of Newcastle's game, he's picked that up straight away.
Oh, I mean, he's just a freak. He is, and I say that as the biggest compliment I could give him. He's an absolute freak. And we adore him. We are delighted to have him. God bless that he come. And by the way, can I say one thing? Because I know Steve will be going berserk. We can't see him, but he can't get to the adverts. Can I say one thing about this situation as well? The club deserve the highest praise, and Woltemade deserve the highest praise, because when this transfer happened, Woltemade was told he was sixth choice by us, and he was told out of Germany wasn't worth the money. And we were told we were getting not our first choice, not our second choice, not our third choice, and he wasn't a centre forward anyway. Both of them did the deal, and both have been proved right. Newcastle have been right, and Woltemade has been right. So the best, and thank you very much to both of them.
And Bayern Munich, after the transfer, were saying, "Oh, you paid too much. You paid way over the odds."
Yes, that's just what I've said. He took he was slagged off at home, but that's all right. We don't mind. We don't mind being proved right.
I left that photo on because that was put onto Newcastle United social media, lads. And if you just look at the bottom, the timing of that photograph was superb, because that's the PIF advert that you see on the billboards, and the slogan is "Invested in Better," and they put that out alongside that photograph of Nick Woltemade. Very clever. Well done to the guy on social media for doing that. Excellent, excellent. Okay, quick break. Back after this.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickys.co.uk. Email info@mrvickys.co.uk. or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.
And thanks for all your comments in the chat. Big Nick was mentioned on NUFC Matters by a good few of us many months before the transfer was done. Yes, you certainly did. You all had your ears to the ground and certainly felt that he was a possibility. Paul Patterson said, I'd love to ask Mal, does he see a bit of him and possibly big Duncan Ferguson in Nick Woltemade? Similar styles to me. I mean, he's a big lad, Mal. I mean, do you think he compares to Duncan Ferguson?
No, completely different. Duncan Ferguson was very much a physical type player. Mm-hmm. And Woltemade, he's more a ballet dancer than a Ferguson. Good heavens, no. I see nothing similar whatsoever.
Gibbo, lots of comparisons to Peter Crouch.
Yeah, you're going to get that because of the size and because of the skinny legs. You know, they're both giraffes on stilts, so you're going to get that automatic comparison. I'm trying to think. There's somebody did a comparison that was quite interesting. An old player that said he reminded his ability on the ball, etc., reminded him of Teddy Sheringham, who liked, and I'm certain the guy that said it was a guy that played alongside Sheringham in the Premier League. And he said, he likes to drop deep, he likes to link up play. He doesn't look like Teddy Sheringham, he looks like Peter Crouch, but he plays like Teddy Sheringham, and he had good feet, and he would drop deep and try to link up play. So I could see that one.
Yeah, John, yes, I can as well. that makes a lot more sense than anything else that I've seen or heard.
Yeah.
But what I think that we have to appreciate is that Woltemade, he is a complete one-off.
Oh.
So don't make comparisons with him. He is a one-off. And let's all just allow him to flourish with what he's able to do, and we'll all learn from him.
Malcolm, after we've been around, all of us been around so long, watching football so long, you don't think there's any one-offs left. And then along comes Woltemade, and he's totally a one-off, isn't he?
Yeah,
this guy was a one-off, lad.
Yes, I'm delighted he was a one-off, because if we'd got another one, I would have been very distraught. And by the way, we're talking about centre forward, so don't bring him into it. For goodness, don't lower the tone. We're talking about
Chris Wood, Super Wood.
We're talking about quality centre forwards.
But the thing is that with Chris Wood, here at Newcastle, we everybody appreciates centre forwards, give them every opportunity, every chance, and he just wasn't good enough to grab hold of it. Just couldn't do it. Okay, so he might have gone to other clubs and he started scoring a few goals, but when he came to this club, he wasn't able in any way to actually just grasp the baton and go with it.
He scored 4 Premier League goals in 2 seasons for us, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a one-off season, and everybody can have a one-off season. He had a one-off season last season when he scored a load of goals because Elanga and Hudson-Odoi were supplying him. And that can happen. And I said, at the time that was happening, I said, let's wait and see him do it again. Because if you look at his record, his goal-scoring record, he's gotten to double figures only just in previous seasons, like 10, 12 or something of that nature. Not a goal scorer. But hey, I've got nothing against the guy. He's an honest centre-forward that does his best. His best is good enough for the Championship, but his best is not good enough for the top of if the Premier League, even though he did it at the top of the Premier League with Forest last season, it was a one-off and it wasn't going to happen again. And you know what? It hasn't happened again.
I've got to disagree a little bit, because I've always believed that if you're going to be a goal scorer, you cannot take a day off in your life. You can't take an hour off. You've got to be mentally prepared at all times, just to be ready to make the finish, and it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing, and you can't just leave it alone and then pick it up at some point down the line. And for a goal scorer to go 2 seasons with only scoring 4 goals and not be injured, doesn't work. He's not a centre forward. He's certainly not a goal scorer or whatever. It's in all honesty, I thought he was a complete fraud at Newcastle.
Okay, interesting stuff. Denise, thank you for your photograph. I must show this. Denise had this in the club last night. She had it at the last 2 home games. There we go. Big Nick Woltemade, BNW 27. That's the flag that she proudly flies now at St James's Park. Thank you for that, Denise.
Really terrific photograph. Well done, Denise. Terrific photograph. Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, just want to take another question before we look ahead to the next 2 games. And Alan says 3 diamonds to come back, lads. Tino, Hall, and Wissa. Our bench is going to be monstrous, and I guess we saw that last night, didn't we? With with the bench, carrying, the likes of Bruno, Tonali, Anthony Gordon. It was an immense bench last night. But with those 3 coming back as well, what a problem to have, John.
It's wonderful. It's a problem you must have if you're going to compete on 4 fronts, not 3 fronts. I mean, the domestic thing, Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, yeah, you can juggle that. But once you bring the Champions League into it or another European competition into it, you've got to have a huge squad. Or you've got to have a squad of quality in every position. You've got to be able to double up in every position. And when everybody's fit at Newcastle, and the guys just mentioned those side, I mean, you know, we forget that we're talking about Livramento and Hall as the England fullbacks for the next 10 years. That's what we were saying at one time when they just come into our side and played so well, and both got full England caps in that time. Livramento is absolute quality. He's silky smooth. I mean, he's glorious just to watch. He just runs like poetry. He runs. He could run over the top of the sea and not get his feet wet. He's terrific. He's absolutely a lovely, lovely player. And you know, Wissa was bought and scored all the goals, so we've got to wait for him. And Hall could be back very quickly. He might be on the bench against West Ham. We certainly need a left back, because if we're vulnerable at all, and we're talking about having a great bench, and we have a great bench, but if we're vulnerable at all, it's a left back in the team. And I know Dan Burn's doing terrific for us, because he will wherever he plays, because he's got a heart the size of a frying pan. But he's not a left back. The one position we're in trouble with at the moment, and I think Malcolm might agree, I'm going to ask him, is left back. We need Hall to get fit and do us a job at left back. We can't rest Dan Burn, because who would you play there? Well, the only person you could do it is play Kraft at right back and Trippier at left back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question Michael asks. Gibbo and Supermac will come to you, Mal. Where would the panel strengthen in January, given our finances? And I guess it's a constant addition, isn't it? Strengthening in different positions. And I think Gibbo is right. Left back certainly is one to look at, and right back, because Trippier's not getting any younger, and neither is Emil Kraft, John.
They're both the wrong side of 30. And I mean, that was our trouble, Steve. Everybody along the back four, when you think of Trippier, you think of Kraft, you think of Byrne, Shaw, everybody was the wrong side of 30. So I had to do something about it. And in fairness to Eddie, he did. He brought Livramento in, he brought Hall in, he brought Bachmann way back in, and he brought Chow in. All have reduced the age of our back four, which was almost creaking on age. But yes, I mean, when you've got Livramento and Hall in there as your two fullbacks, you still need backup. I think left back, as was said, Steve, is got to be addressed in January. And you've got to look towards right back. Trippier's been ginormous for us, but he can't keep going. He can't keep going. He can't keep going, you know. And Livramento, I mean, we've seen people say, well, we've got Livramento and Hall. And that's what we were saying, say, a year ago, England's fullbacks for the next 10 years. All of a sudden, they're both injured. Where are you then? Where are you then? That happens in football, and we haven't got good enough backup, because Kraft never lets us down, and Byrne will never let us down. But they're not Premier League top of the table right back and left back, those two boys.
Yeah,
they're simply on.
Yeah, I would agree, John. But what Eddie Howe has got to have is an expertise in keeping players happy when they're out the side. And that's quite a job.
It's a heck of a job, Malcolm.
Yeah.
But it looks as if it's happening, you know, mate, because we've got good people. You never hear Ramsey or Willock or, you know, we can go through Schuler or
there's no moodiness when they come back into the side, is there?
Bonds and Murphy, sensational last season, goes out the side this season for Langett. He's not kicked up a heck of a fuss. He's just come back in and reminded us what he did last season. I mean, you know, the team spirit is wonderful. And that is part of the selection, Malcolm, isn't it? You know, you don't just look at a player and say, he's got silky skills, he's got this, he's got that. You look at the person as well. Will he cause trouble in the club? Will he agitate? Will he be a bad egg in the dressing room Monday to Friday? And you don't get. I mean, look at Woltemade. They've scouted him and looked at him as a person as well, and as a person, top class that would fit into the club and want to be part of it. You look at that as well. You don't buy trouble.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why Liverpool are suffering. I think
there's no need to take a risk, is there? When you've got all of these, it's like a happy family.
Absolutely, and that's an art, Malcolm, as you said. That's an art.
Yes,
and Eddie seems good at that. Eddie is good at that art.
And keep
good eggs.
Players who aren't getting into the first 11, keeping them happy and focused in what's necessary. And you can, I looked at Spurs and I thought that I felt that there wasn't 100% coming from them, that they weren't 100% happy. Newcastle, everybody happy, everybody giving everything, you could just see it in the whole of the play.
That's why, Malcolm,
which is the happy side, which is the not so happy.
That's why we could make 8 changes and still look the part, because the people that come in were enthusiastic. They weren't sulking.
I was staggered by the performance.
Yeah,
and how it all just gelled right from the first whistle to the last, and I thought, well, that was brilliant tonight.
Yeah,
I really did.
Yep, good stuff. Okay, got about 8 or 9 minutes left. Thank you, everybody. We can't get through all the questions, I'm afraid. But thanks for joining in tonight. A lanky Peter Beardsley is the way that Jed Headley describes Woltemade, which is first time I've heard that, but I like it. Thank you for that, Jed. Hope you're well. Okay, Newcastle United travel to West Ham on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff, live on Sky Sports. And it is an attempt to end our 7-game winless Premier League run on the road at the London Stadium. Teams to follow, of course, a bit early to find out whether there's any knocks from last night's game, and West Ham haven't announced theirs either. What we do know is that West Ham have lost all 4 of their Premier League home games so far this season. The final one last season as well, they lost that. This will be the first time since 1931 that they've suffered that kind of embarrassment. The referee has been announced. It's Robert Jones. It's his second Tyne game of the season. He was the one who took charge of the 0-0 draw at Bournemouth, where he ignored a blatant shirt pull on the box on Nick Woltemade. Doesn't really inspire confidence, that, does it? And VAR is back after last night's night off, and Paul Howard will be doing the VAR. So, yeah, West Ham, John, good time to play them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If ever we're going to get an away win in the Premier League, this has to be it. I mean, they are in absolute disarray. I mean, they really are. They've had 2 managers already this season, but now it's changed. It's their worst start in 52 years. They've got 4 points in the second bottom. I mean, they couldn't win a raffle if they were the only people in the raffle. They are absolutely desperate at the moment. And where does the new manager Nuno start? Try to plug a porous defence, try to put goals in the front, try to get a midfield that can dominate. In other words, all 3 departments are awful. I mean, you can't play them at a better time. And we have just won 3 matches in a week in 3 different competitions, but we mustn't lose sight of the Premier League. It's easy to, because we've got some great results in the last 2 games in the Champions League. We've got ourselves through to the quarterfinals of the League Cup. It's easy to say, the rest, well, that's just bread and butter. It's quite dull, the Premier League. No, it isn't. If we don't get up the Premier League, we don't qualify next season for Europe, next season for the Champions League. It is vital that we start clawing back the point situation in the Premier League. In this, for an away match, bear in mind that 3 of the 4 away games this season we've kept a clean sheet because there have been no draws. So,
Yeah.
we haven't got a lot to improve on. We can get amongst them, and their crowd is waiting to turn on them. They're going to have a display after the game. They're going to have a march before the next game. They are waiting to turn on the club and therefore affect the players. We've got to take advantage of that. We really have a great opportunity to win a Premier League game away from home this season. And I expect us to take it. And I would be very annoyed if we don't take it, guys, because we've got to win away at some stage in the Premier League. And tell me an easier match or a better match than this one to get that win.
Absolutely, John. And if the team just start like they did last night, I can't see West Ham living with Newcastle at all.
No.
And once goals start, once Newcastle put goals in the net, then West Ham will they'll crumble. They're in such a fragile state.
Oh, desperate. Absolutely. And by the way, when you're starting to rely on Callum Wilson, you're in a desperate state. He's been a fabulous player, but he's well past his sell-by date, bless him.
Sure.
And I've got a lot of time for him, but he's because of what he did for us. But he's not the answer, and they are looking towards him now.
Yeah. Prediction for this one, lads?
For me, I'm going 3-0 to Newcastle.
I've gone 3-0 as well, John. Yeah, 100%. I think Newcastle will win this one.
That's what's been in my head as well.
Okay.
So, 3-0 all round.
Yeah, we'll have that.
3-0 all round. And then, of course, the game's still coming thick and fast. Bilbao at home in the Champions League will be on Wednesday, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff. Just a little info on their participation in the competition so far. They've lost 2-0 at home to Arsenal and 4-1 at Borussia Dortmund. But Ernesto Valverde's side registered a win last time out with a 3-1 home success against FK Karabag. They are sitting 9th in La Liga at this moment in time, and they will be taking on Basque rivals Real Sociedad on Saturday before heading to Tyneside. It is live on TNT Sports, and of course, if you are going, make sure you get up to the food bank and give them some support. So yeah, John, this is a massive opportunity again for Newcastle to get the 9 points in the Champions League, and that tantalisingly close to qualification for the next round, John.
And it must be that way, Steve, because if we are to qualify, you look at what we've had. We've had 3 matches so far, and we've got 6 points. We're home to Bilbao. They're only mid-table in La Liga. They're struggling.
Yeah.
They are struggling. And, it was they only beat Cocky Licky Juniors in the Champions League anyway. The other 2 games that got done. This is a must because our next 2 games in the Champions League are away, and I don't mean you write them off because they're away, but they're tough when you're away. So we have got to cash in on this match with Bilbao. They're very, very beatable in the way that Mourinho's side was beatable. And I think we will beat them. I mean, I know I'm pushing my luck because we've had 3 home games, 3 wins, and then I'm going for us to win at West Ham and to win at Bilbao. But yes, I am. Bilbao.
John. I think you're absolutely right. And once you get into that winning streak, then you've got the confidence to just keep it going, and don't get cocky with it.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's what.
Keep your boots on the ground.
Newcastle don't seem to get cocky. That's something that Howe does with his players. They don't get big time Charlies. They say, and this is a match. When you looked at the 8 games we had, and you would tick off the ones you think we can win. This is where we'll get our points. Bilbao is one of them, and we've got to beat them. And I'm taking 2-0 in that, but I'm taking us to win. And that's the most important thing, that we do win. So I'm taking two wins, West Ham and Bilbao.
2-0 for me as well. Malcolm, are we going for another hat?
Well, I'm going to match the West Ham scoreline. I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0 for that one as well. Fantastic. Can I just say a quick happy birthday to 2 former Newcastle United legends. Sean Longstaff, of course, a man who played with his heart on his sleeve and got Newcastle United where they are these days, and it'll never be forgotten, I'm sure, by Eddie Howe and the boys. Happy birthday to Sean. And, of course, happy birthday to somebody who didn't play many games but will always have a part in Newcastle United fans' hearts of a certain vintage, and that is Tony Green. Who is his birthday today as well. So happy birthday to those two lads. Great stuff. Yeah. Lads, been a pleasure. We are live Thursday next week at 11 a.m. So look forward to getting your views on those two games. Hopefully we're smiling after the Wednesday night win and the weekend win, lads. Have a good weekend.
May we see the Invisible Man next week as well. Enjoy.